Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. Going to be giving you my predictions for Manchester United's game against Omonia Nicosia in the Europa League. It's at Old Trafford. So I'm going to go for a Manchester United win. And the score, I'm going to go with 3-0 to Manchester United. And the goal scorers, I'm going to go with Cristiano Ronaldo, Marcus Rashford, and Bruno Fernandes. So that is your predictions. On another video, I'll be giving you my predicted 11 for this game. Now, Manchester United are coming into this game against Omonia Nicosia on the back of a 2-1 victory against Everton at Goodison Park. Reflecting on the win against Everton, Man United ended Everton's 2-game winning run. And Man United have won 5 of their last 6 in the Premier League. Goals against Everton. Obviously, we saw Cristiano Ronaldo score his 700th club goal. Ronaldo obviously came on to replace Martial in the first half because Martial went off injured. Antony scored for Manchester United. His goal came from a mistake from Idrissa Gueye in that midfield. Antony finished expertly. It was Antony's third goal for Manchester United. Everton's goal came from Alex Iwobi. It was a good curling effort from 25 yards out. So Manchester United had to come from behind to beat Everton. Obviously, after the game against Everton, Erik ten Hag said that Antony had his best game yet for Manchester United, and Erik ten Hag also called Man United players to be more clinical after Everton win. This game against Omonia Nicosia is Manchester United's 4th game of the group. So far, Man United have played 3 games in the group. We've won 2 and we've lost 1. Not so long ago, Man United won away at Omonia Nicosia 3-2. Manchester United come from behind in that game. The substitutions change the complex of that game. Obviously, Rashford came on and got 2 goals and an assist, and Martial came on and got a goal. Martial's played Man United's last 3 games, and to his credit, he's made an impact. You know, he got an assist against Everton before he went off injured, like I just said, scored against Omonia Nicosia. And Martial came off the bench and scored twice in the 6-3 defeat to Man City. Man United earlier on this season beat FC Sheriff away 2-0. Man United lost their opening game of the group to Real Sociedad 1-0, but Man United shouldn't have lost that game. Lisandro Martinez got controversially penalised for the handball, and it was never a handball. Plus, Ronaldo had a goal disallowed in that game for offside. But yeah, I am convinced that Man United will get to knockout stages of the Europa League. Man United won the Europa League back in 2017 under the Jose Mourinho era. Man United did beat Ajax in the final 2-0. We've got is it 4 players missing at the moment? Martial's injured. Harry Maguire's still injured, but he wouldn't start anyway because he's no longer one of our first choice centre-halves following the arrival of Martinez. Van der Beek's been out with a knock. and Brandon Williams is still injured, but Williams doesn't get in the team anyway. Varane has just come back from injury, so he'll likely play in this game. Omonia, Nicosia, they're from Cyprus. Their manager is Neil Lennon. Neil Lennon got appointed in as the Omonia Nicosia manager in March this year. Before, Neil Lennon managed Bolton Wanderers and Hibernian, and he enjoyed 2 spells with Celtic. Like I've said, I do know a few players Omonia Nicosia. They've got an attacking player called Gary Hooper. They have Brandon Barker and Andy Matthews. They're the only players I know who they've got. Manchester United's next league game is Newcastle. That will be a tough game because Newcastle are in form at the moment. But a lot this season, I've gave Erik ten Hag credit because there has been games where I do like the way he's approached them. For example, he's dropped Ronaldo in a lot of games this season, and he's dropped Maguire in a lot of games this season, and Man United have looked a far superior team, if I'm going to be honest with you. There again, though, there has been some games where Erik ten Hag has made some wrong decisions, and I said that after the 6-3 defeat to Manchester City the other week. I do think Man United look a better team under Erik ten Hag. Erik ten Hag does need time at Man United. This is his first full season. And Erik ten Hag knew when he'd taken over the reins at Man United that he had big expectations to exceed. Ten Hag is managing one of the biggest clubs in the world, if not the biggest. This is his first season managing in the Premier League. Revert back to when Ten Hag was at Ajax, he did very well because he won Eredivisie titles, he won Dutch Cups, and revert back to 2019, he got Ajax to the Champions League semi-finals and he developed the young players well. But like I've said, the Premier League is totally different to the Dutch League. Not so long ago, Erik ten Hag got named the Premier League Manager of the Month. Ten Hag's Man United's 5th permanent manager since Ferguson. He replaced Ralph Rangnick earlier on this year. He's under contract with Man United till 2025. There's an option to extend for a further year. Ten Hag has made 6 signings as Manchester United manager. Man United have spent over 200 million this year. Let me put into the equation that Ten Hag has got rid of players as well. But despite that, he's still inheriting deadwood. He is. The other week, Ten Hag revealed his transfer plans for January. He said Man United will continue to hold meetings over strengthening the squad. Ten Hag's going to get a transfer budget of around 70 million. The January transfer window will be Erik ten Hag's 2nd transfer window as Man United manager. Ten Hag obviously recommended Mitchell van den Gag and Steve McLaren to Man United. They've been working alongside Ten Hag. We've got John Murtaugh and Richard Arnold at the club. We've got Benny McCarthy. Earlier on this year, Sir Alex Ferguson came back to Man United in an advisory role. And the Glazers are still at Manchester United. We've got to get the Glazers out of the club because they've been a massive problem for a long time. And for a long time, Man United fans have been protesting against the Glazers. The Glazers have owned the club since 2005, so they've owned the club for around 17 years. As you all know, throughout the course of this year, there's been a lot of narratives coming out saying that Michael Knighton wanted to buy the club. And then he said Sir Jim Ratcliffe wanted to buy Man United earlier on this year. Elon Musk joked about buying the club as well. On my last video, I gave you the news regarding David De Gea. I said, will David De Gea sign a new contract at Manchester United? Recently, David De Gea broke silence on signing a new Man United contract. David De Gea admitted he wants to stay at Man United for more years after winning at Everton. De Gea's contract at Man United expires next year. There is an option to extend for a further year. De Gea earns around £375,000 a week. It said a few weeks ago, though, that De Gea could leave Man United on a free at the end of the season. He said Atletico Madrid were interested in re-signing De Gea. That's where he was before Man United. And he said De Gea was wanted by Juventus on a free transfer at the end of the season. De Gea's enjoyed around 11 years or so at Man United, so reflecting on that, he's been a long-serving player. He's been with us since the Ferguson era, and earlier on this year, he won the Players' Player of the Year. Well, De Gea's won everything domestically at the football club, and he's made over 500 appearances for Man United in all competitions. Like I've said though, next year players are going to depart the club. I think we'll get rid of Tellez permanently. He's out on loan with Sevilla at the moment. I think Luke Shaw could leave because he's no longer first choice left back. Terrell Malacia is. And Malacia has been impressive in a lot of games this season. There again, Shaw started against Everton. Phil Jones, I think he's on his way out of the club next year. I think we'll get rid of Eric Bailly permanently. He's out on loan with Marseille at the moment. We'll get rid of Harry Maguire next year because, like I've said, he's no longer one of our first choice centre-halves and he's out with injury at the moment. Man United overpaid for Harry Maguire, got him for 80 million. Revert back to last season, the vast majority of Man United fans were demanding for the captaincy to be taken off him. Next year, Lindelof will leave the club as well. Tuan Zabi will go. Last season he was out on loan with Aston Villa. He's enjoyed like 3 loan spells with Villa. And Wan-Bissaka, he'll be leaving next year because there's no way back for him in the team because Diego Dalot is our first choice right back, and Dalot's been impressive in a lot of games this season, hasn't he? Fred, I reckon he'll leave next year. Too inconsistent. Plus, he doesn't start many games now because he's no longer one of our first choice centre midfielders. Neither is McTominay, following the arrivals of Casemiro and Christian Eriksen. Martial, I reckon Man United could sell him as well next year. He doesn't get in the team much. He's had about 3 injuries so far this season, so reflecting on that, he's missed a lot of games. Last season, Martial was out on loan with Sevilla, wasn't he? He's under contract with Man United until 2024. And there's a good chance that Ronaldo will be leaving Man United in January. Well, it said not so long ago that Cristiano Ronaldo can leave Man United in January. Erik ten Hag will not stand in his way, but when Erik ten Hag first took charge of Man United, he wanted Ronaldo to stay. Said ten Hag could receive 100 million to spend if Ronaldo leaves in January. Prior to the Everton game, it said Ronaldo was unhappy with Erik ten Hag's training sessions and style of play. And not so long ago, Ten Hag did mention that Ronaldo was unhappy that he does not play regularly. Ronaldo's contract at the club expires next year. There is an option to extend for a further year. Ronaldo earns around £480,000 a week. Man United re-signed Ronaldo last year from Juventus, so he's been his second spell at the club. Don't forget earlier on this year, Ronaldo got charged by the FA over that mobile phone incident at Everton. Brandon Williams, he's another one that'll leave next year because he doesn't get in the team either. He's injured at the moment. Last season, he was out on loan with Norwich. Next year, though, there's a lot of players that will stay at the club. You know, De Gea could be now staying next year, reflecting on what he's said. Possibly Tom Heaton could stay next year. There again, he could leave. Man United got Tom Heaton on a free from Aston Villa, don't forget. Varane will obviously stay next year because he's doing really well now. Obviously, Martinez will stay. He's made a fantastic impact since he's come in. Delors, I think, will stay next year now, reflecting how good he's been this season. Obviously, Terrell Malacia will stay next year. He's our first choice left back. He's done well in a lot of games since he come in. I do believe that McTominay will stay next year, even though Man United did bring Casemiro and Christian Eriksen in. McTominay, to his credit, has had some impressive games this season. Obviously, Casemiro will stay next year. Casemiro, what an impact he made against Everton. He was unlucky not to score because he had that headed chance that just went wide and he provided an assist. In most of Casemiro's games though so far, he seemed to make impacts from the bench. And Christian Eriksen will obviously stay next year. He's done well in a lot of games since he come in. Bruno Fernandes, of course, he will stay next year. Anthony will obviously stay next year. Anthony's doing well. You know, he's got 3 goals now as a Manchester United player. Man United got Anthony for €100 million. That equates to around £86 million in pounds sterling. Marcus Rashford, I reckon he'll stay as well next year. Rashford's enjoying a good season this season. He really is. You know, Rashford had a goal disallowed against Everton for handball. Maybe some people are saying that goal should have stood. You know, like I said, Rashford came off the bench and scored twice against Omonia and Nicosia. He scored twice in the 3-1 win against Arsenal earlier on in the season. And he scored in the 2-1 home win against Liverpool, didn't he? Not so long ago, Marcus Rashford got named Premier League Player of the Month for September. Jadon Sancho, he will stay at the club as well. I think Sancho's done well in some games this season. He's got like 3 goals on it so far this season. He's had some poor games as well. Sancho obviously didn't play against Everton. Anthony Elanga, of course, he will stay at the club as well next year. He's a good young asset. So there you go. So hey guys, that's everything to update you with. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel if you do consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.